Hello, good evening all. I'm audible.
Yes,
Yes,
Hello.
sir, you are right.
Okay. Okay. Anyone is
Yes.
having today's newspaper because I'm not able to download today's newspaper. If anyone is having, please can you share it on the group so that we can start discussing the today's newspaper. Anyone is having Pune edition or maybe Delhi edition for today's newspaper?
So I have it. I'm sending in the group.
Okay. Which one you have? Which edition you have?
Delhi edition, sir.
Delhi edition. Okay. So Delhi edition and Pune edition is same or it's different?
It's a little different, I think, from Pune edition.
Okay. So let me check it out if I can
I'll
have.
still send it. Yes, sir.
Have you sent, Pratibha?
Yes, sir.
I'm not able to get the. You got which one? Pune or okay, तरन्नुम आपने जो भेजा वो पुणे वाला है एंड दिल्ली वाला है.
दिल्ली का है सर.
ठीक है, चलिए नो प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है, so I'm downloading newspaper. Okay, it's almost done. So before I start today's newspaper, if you have any doubts for yesterday's newspaper, you can ask me. Then we'll continue. Any doubts from yesterday's newspaper?
No, sir. Sir, today, actually, in the news yesterday, I was seeing the loan moratorium is extendable for 2 years, and that is some. They were saying that it is going to be harmful also. So how is it going to be harmful?
Because obviously, if the moratorium, you know what is moratorium? What is loan moratorium?
Not clear, sir.
Moratorium means what? Whoever has taken a loan from the banks and they are supposed to pay the EMIs every month. They are supposed to pay back the loan. So during the lockdown period, due to the less economic activities, the Reserve Bank of India has been given a moratorium for not paying the loan to the banks. And if suppose that moratorium is extended 2 years, then obviously the banks may not be having enough capital or enough money to give the loan to others. So extending moratorium means what? Allowing people not to pay back the loan for 2 years. So then obviously it will be harmful because when banks will give the loans only when the people who have taken the loans, when they are repaying it back, then only the banks may be in a position to repay back the loan. So that is why in long terms moratorium is harmful. But at the same time we know that people economic activities have been reduced. We have seen that 50% of the majority of the economic sectors have been affected, and because of this they are not in a position to give the loan back to the people. So do you think that like for construction companies or tourist companies or travel companies whose economic activities have been reduced by 50%, will they be able to give back or will they be able to pay the loans which they have taken to the government?
No, sir.
They will not. So that is what is the problem now. And unless and until the people, so those who have taken the loan, they do not give it back to the people, to the bank, then obviously bank may not be in a position to pay back the loan, to give the new or fresh loans to starting the activities. Now again we know, to start the economic activity, to recover the economic growth of the country, again it is very important to give loan to the people. So that is what is the problem now. So the solution for this is that we need to recapitalize the banks. Recapitalization of bank means what? Either government should give money to the banks to give the loans, or RBI should print the currency and give it to the commercial bank. So we need to find out a way through which we can give fresh loan to the people, because unless and until the fresh loans or fresh credit is given to the people or given to the businesses and entrepreneurs, the economic activity is not going to recover. That is what is the main problem which Indian economy is facing now. Well,
Okay.
Kritika, why the
Yes.
moratorium is also harmful?
Yes.
Right? Shall Now we'll start for the today's newspaper. Today there was news related to the Pangong Lake issue, which we have discussed yesterday. That both India and China are having disputes over the what you can say the possession of the Pangong Bank. China claims it is Chinese. India claims it is Indian territory. So Indian troops moved at two LAC locations on 2 different days to foil incursion bids by China, because we have seen that earlier, that's 2 months back, that China has tried to what you can say incurs or what you can say encroach in Indian territory, and now they are trying to what you can say encroach in the Pangong region also. So the Indian troops have been moved to these 2 locations where the Chinese incursions are likely to happen. So Rajnath Singh, who is the Defense Minister of India, says that he chairs the meeting of military brass, heads to Moscow today for SCO defense meeting. So today it is going to have a meeting at SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is actually a military cooperation organization. So our defense minister is going to have a meeting in Moscow regarding the SCO, and also obviously Indian issue may be discussed in this SCO meeting. So today you need to go and check it out. What is this SCO? That is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. What is the purpose of creation of the SCO? Which are the member countries in SCO? And is India a member country or India a observer country in the SCO? And what is the significance of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? That what you need to go and check it out today. In paper 2, there is a topic called international organizations and their mandate, international institutions and their mandate. So you have to go and check it out today. If you don't know what is SCO and what is the significance of this international organization. So Delhi, Beijing trade charges on each other that India is trying to incur, while China is saying that Pangong is their area. So just read this article just to keep a watch that what is going on between India and China on this border dispute. So as I told you, in paper 3, there is a topic called border management. So you will get some points in border management topic. Right hand side, there is an article about the AGR, which I have already discussed, that the annual gross revenue issue, where the telecom companies were considering that AGR should be only telecom activities and non-telecom activities should not be considered into the gross revenues of the company. So the hearing was going on in front of the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court says, Supreme Court lets telecom firms stagger AGR payments over 10 years. So 10 years revenue or 10 years income tax was supposed to be, or we can say, not paid by. Supreme Court has given a judgment in favor of the telecom companies. So court says NCLT, that is National Company Law Tribunal, to decide on whether spectrum can be sold under IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So because since that many telecom companies are in loss now, and we can observe that in last few years we are facing a network issue. We are facing a network issue because the companies are in loss, and since companies are in loss, the companies are, what you can see, terminating their employees, and because of the lack of the manpower, the companies are not able to provide proper services to the people. So those companies which are in loss, those telecom companies which are in the loss, they can file for insolvency and bankruptcy. They can dissolve their company. They can, what you can say, sell the assets of the company and pay back the loan, and they can, what you can say, start a new company. So Supreme Court says that it is the National Company Law Tribunal, because it says that the insolvency and bankruptcy code cases goes to the National Company Law Tribunal. So Supreme Court says that NCLT will decide whether spectrum can be sold under the IBC or not. So spectrum means what? Whenever a telecom company starts a business, they have to purchase spectrum like 2G spectrum, 3G spectrum, 4G spectrum, or 5G spectrum. So whether this spectrum, which has been bought by the company, which is a lost company now, whether they can sell this spectrum to some other company or not, because they have bought it by giving some money. So they can monetize it and they can, what you can say, pay back the loan. So that is what is explained here. It's a very important article. This article is related to the AGR. This article is related to Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and this is also related to the functions of NCLT, that is National Company Law Tribunal. So read the whole article to understand the issue of IBC, NCLT, and AGR, and what is the judgment given by the Supreme Court in this regard. Right? So now here you can see the telecom companies, amid these losses which are incurred by the telecom companies, they are thinking of increasing the tariff. Tariff of means what? Tariff means we can see now that the tariff for the telecom services have been reduced tremendously. So Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea faced payouts in excess of rupees 25,000 crore and 50,000 crore respectively. Both may need to hike tariff, that is rental plan, by at least rupees 20 to 30 rupees per month just to cover AGR dues. Experts say, but things could be tough for Vodafone Idea, which has debt in excess of rupees 1.1 lakh crore. So we can see that Vodafone and Idea company, which has been like earlier, Vodafone was different and Idea was different. Now both have been merged together. This company is having around 1.18 lakh crore rupees debt. It is having 1.8 crore rupees, what you can say, the karza. And obviously, to give the dues, the company has to increase the tariffs, or it has to increase the rentals. Left hand side, there is one article about the Kafil Khan. Kafil Khan free after High Court scraps NSA. You see that recently Kafil Khan, one of the important issue related to the national security, what you can say, act. He has been arrested under that act, and we can say that recently many people have been arrested by, what you can say, slapping these charges on the people. So High Court has scrapped the UP government for, what you can say, for putting this act and arresting the Kafil Khan, and he was released by the Supreme Court's order. So this is a best example that how the judiciary intervenes in such type of high-handedness. Whenever the state or whenever the executive, what you can say, tries to arrest any person, by this way the Supreme Court, what you can say, intervenes, or sorry, not Supreme Court, here it is High Court. So the judiciary intervenes in such type of cases. So the judiciary has the responsibility, judiciary has the, what you can say, the role of protecting the constitutional rights which have been given to the citizens of India. So read this article, which is the best example. Right hand side, bail to Pinjara, TOD member, High Court says no evidence of hate speech. So here again saying one more thing, that again here High Court has intervened in the one of the arrest by the government. So a bail has been given to one of the important, what you can say, the, here it is mentioned that Delhi High Court on Tuesday granted bail to Pinjara Tod activist and Jawaharlal Nehru University student Devangana Kalita in Northeast Delhi violence case, saying police failed to produce any material to prove that her speech instigated women of any particular community or that she gave a hate speech. So we can see that recently many such arrests have been made by the government for hate speeches. So here the bail has been given. So just read it out. Right hand side, there is one article about the NPAs, that is non-performing assets in SHG loan. SHG means self-help groups, seized jump. So now we can see that self-help groups normally don't have the NPAs, but in this lockdown period, we can see that even the self-help groups have also been not able to pay back their loans. So with the proportion of non-performing assets in bank loans given to self-help groups seeing a steady rise in previous financial year, the Union Ministry of Rural Development has asked states to monitor the status of NPAs district-wise and take a corrective measures to recover overdue or outstanding dues. In some states, NPAs make up more than a quarter of the loans taken by the SHGs, with Uttar Pradesh seeing a 50% jump. So self-help group, there is one topic in paper 2. If anyone is having syllabus with you, can you please check it out? What is the topic in paper 2 related to self-help groups? Anyone is having syllabus with you? Just check it out. In paper 2, there is one topic. Various organizations and self-help groups. That topic is there in paper 2. Yes, Mustaqim.
Yes, sir. The role of NGOs, self-help groups, various groups and associations
In
development processes and the development industry.
Very good. So self-help groups do have certain role in the development processes and development industry. So these self-help groups are also in what you can say trouble due to economic slowdown of the country. That is what is mentioned here. So the government and state governments are asked to collect the dues which are the loans which have been given to this self-help groups. So cut this article and put it in paper 2 topic, self-help groups or the role of self-help groups. Okay. Right hand side there is one more article about 4 CM's right to PM, finance minister on GST, center out to borrow. So we can see that a dispute is going on between central government and the state government over the compensation of the GST. And here we can see that the state government have been asked to borrow the money for in return of compensation, but now state governments are not willing to borrow the money. In fact, the state government are asking the central government to borrow and give it to the state government. So this topic is basically related to paper 2 topic this or issues related to the devolution of power and finances. So we can see that in paper 2 there is a topic called devolution of finances between dispute central and state government relations, that is central state relations, financial relation, that is what is important. So read this article. What is the dispute going on between the union government and state government related to the devolution of taxes between the union government and state government, that is related to GST. Okay, the topic I have already been discussed with you. What is exactly the GST issue is. Check it. Check. Going to the next page. Okay, since it is a Delhi edition, so maximum news is related to Delhi. I will, rather than reading the Delhi news, I will go to the editorial for today's. Okay, here there is one article by written. It is mentioned that center's option to let states borrow a burden. CM to Prime Minister, which I have discussed now. You just read it out. Check it. Here there is one topic called recycled waste in project. 13 central and Delhi government departments means 25% of targets. In paper 1, there is one topic called problems of urbanizations and the remedies. So waste management, that is solid waste management, is again one of the important problem in the urban areas. So waste can be recycled. So the target of the recycled have been made by 13 central departments as well as Delhi government has made what you can see the 25% of the target. That is what is mentioned here. So just read this article to understand the problems of urban areas and the solution given to those problems or remedies given to those problems. Okay. Now Atmanirbhar package, which I've already seen here, it is mentioned that the Atmanirbhar package only 33% of food grains allocated for migrants distributed. So we can see that as a part of that Atmanirbhar package, the government has decided to give free food grains to the migrated workers. So only 33% of the food grains have been given to the migrants and not to the what we can say to the migrants people. That is what is mentioned here. So just read this article. What is the problem? What are the issues and what are the challenges for distributing the food grains to the migrant workers in the rural areas? So just read this article to get an idea what are the issues, because in mains exam the questions have been asked about the issues of the in India. Check. So Jamia Architecture Department Dean to design Ayodhya Mosque Complex. So a Muslim professor is going to design the mosque complex of the Ayodhya where the Ram Mandir temple is going to be built. Just read it out. So yesterday there was death of our president. So his funeral has been taken amid tears and PPE, that is protection equipment. Check. Okay, so today's editorial is about the Pranab Mukherjee, a full life as a politician, administrator, and statesman. Pranab Mukherjee built a rich legacy and remained relevant till the end. That is what is mentioned here. So just read it out. What is the contribution of Pranab Mukherjee that you will come to know. So UPSC may not ask questions specifically on Pranab Mukherjee, but to just understand how the such great figures or such great politicians, what you can say, achieved success in their life, that you can understand by reading this article, which will be helpful for you in personality building. So just read the article. Down there is an article about the impasse in Ladakh, the India-China issue. So you need to read this article and then you need to again cut this article and put it in paper 3 topic, border management. So I'll read this article so that you will come to know. The Indian Army's preemptive actions on night of August 29-30 to prevent China from changing the status quo on southern bank of Hong Kong. So, and Beijing's response to it have heightened tensions in the line of actual control in Ladakh. Since May, troops have been engaged in face-off on the northern bank of the lake after Chinese troops came 8 kilometers west of the Finger 8, which is on India's side of LAC. That the Indian Army preempted PLA's activity on the southern bank of Hong Kong So Lake, undertook measures to strengthen our positions and thought Chinese intentions to unilaterally change the facts on ground. Follow from Chief of Defense Staff Bipin Rawat's statement last month that Delhi has military options to deal with Chinese transgression. China has responded predictably. A statement from embassy in New Delhi said on August 31st, Indian troops violated the consensus reached in previous multi-level engagements and illegally trespassed the line of actual control again in the southern bank of Hong Kong So Lake and near the Rikin Pass in the western sector of India-China border, conducted flagrant provocation. So this is the statement given by Chinese embassy in Delhi. So the latest moves on the LAC signal a change in the way India is dealing with the China on the border issue. So how the border disputes or how the border issues are dealt, that is explained here in this article. So that is why I'm asking you to read this article and put it in paper 3 topic, border management. So what is the change in the way India is dealing with the China on the border issues? That Indian security establishes showing willingness and ability to respond alarmity to any further attempts by PLA, that is People's Republic Army of China, to change the situation on the ground. On the diplomatic front, multiple rounds of talks, that is between the military commanders and the level of the national security advisors, appear not to be have made significant progress. So Delhi wants Beijing to ensure that its troops revert to their position before the current face-off, but neither the PLA nor Chinese diplomatic establishment has formally committed to doing so. Beijing wants Delhi to isolate the border issue from broader bilateral ties, because we know we have a broader bilateral ties with China, there is trade relations, then financial relations. We also have BRICS countries because China is a part of the BRICS. So this border dispute should not be, what you can say, impact on that other bilateral relationship. That is what the Beijing and Delhi both want. Beijing wants Delhi to isolate the broader border issue from the broader bilateral ties, because we know that because of that border issue, many Indians are asking for, what you can say, not buying or not allowing the Chinese companies to come in India. So these are two different things. That is what Beijing says. The Indian position articulated by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar last month is clear. The border issue cannot be separated from the larger bilateral relationship. So take this statement, all of you write down the statement, that border issue cannot be separated from the larger bilateral relationship. Take the statement in inverted comma, full stop, and comment. This is the question for international relations in the next class. Like I do give some such questions meanwhile. So all of you have to write an answer on this statement for mains. Now again, I can understand all of you are preparing for the prelims exam now. You may not be having a time to write the answer, but you can just take the question. You can write the answer once your prelims exam is over. So while having an answer writing practice for the mains exam, you can take this topic in mains exam topic. So write down the statement that the border issue cannot be separated from the larger bilateral relationship. You have to give a full, what you can say, you have to give a comment on it. Any doubts about this question? Bhakti, did you write this question?
Yes, sir.
Because Sonali is not joining the
Yes, sir.
class. Yes, Rupali, can you write it down? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please write it down. We will discuss this question once our prelim exam is over. Why Sonali is not joining the newspaper analysis class, Rupali? Do you know the reason?
No, sir, I don't know.
Okay, check. Okay, next is the current diplomatic impasse and military standoff can only deepen the trust deficit between the two countries. Given that the zone of tension in Ladakh is expanded, the danger of military escalation along LAC has increased. Diminishing that risk in the short term should be the diplomatic priority. In the medium and long term, China's aggression and uncertainty of the boundary itself will have to be redressed. So the last paragraph is about the way forward. I told you this is the best example that how you should write the answer in the mains exam. So here you can see the history of the dispute is given in first paragraph. The engagement, what India and China haven't done related to solve this dispute has been given in second paragraph, and third paragraph is related to what should be the way forward is given in the last paragraph. So in this way you should write the answer in the mains exam. This is a fine example that within 200 words how you should write the answer in the exam. That is why I'm asking you to cut this article and put it in paper 3, topic border management. Any doubts about this article?
No, sir.
Okay. Right hand side, there is one article written by Sudhir Kakkar. How far the leader can see. Vision may be crucial ingredient in people's trust. Shields the leader from objective facts. So it's about the what you can say leadership which India is required in such a troublesome what you can say the situation. Because no, in 1991 there was a trouble in Indian economy. Manmohan Singh come as a what you can say the savior of the Indian economy. He saved the Indian economy. Not only saved the Indian economy, he has brought the Indian economy on what you can say on a good, very good front. But the situation in the country today is even worse than the 1990 situation. We have seen that India has never experienced such type of economic contraction, such a large economic contraction that you can see that 23.9% economic contraction is observed in the economic activities now. So in such situation, we need a leader who can bring back the economy out of such trouble. And we know that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a visionary leader, but at the same time, he has a habit of what you can say, not looking at the objective facts. That is what is mentioned here. That vision may be crucial ingredient in people's trust, but it shields the leader from the objective facts. That is what is mentioned here. So read this article. It's a very fine example that how to write the essay in the what you can see in the mains exam. So here there is one article. Here there is one paragraph written that what type of leader we should have. Since I have what time 10 minutes, I will read this paragraph and I'll go to the next point. Here it is mentioned in this paragraph. Can you all see the highlighted paragraph?
Yes, sir.
Is there an Indian cultural idea of authentic leader? Most of the people would say. Can anybody tell me to whom we should look as the ideal leader? An example in India or Indian culture, Indian mythology or Indian, what you can say, the Indian way of life. To which person we can look at an ideal leader? Any ideal leader you have? Yes, Ritika? It is given answer. The most people would say that Rama as a king in the mythical past, and more recently Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi as a leader of India's independence movement, incorporate the ideal leader of the Indian cultural imagination. Right? Rama as well as Gandhi in recent past and Ram in the mythological, what you can say the past, are seen as a what you can say the ideal leader. That leader's characteristics are radical selflessness in service of the people, that is prepared to sacrifice personal interest, especially of family life and even the welfare of the family members. That we always see that if such person can become a good leader who is of a selfless life, who can serve the people, who do not have any personal interest and who is ready to sacrifice the personal interest and the welfare of the family for the what you can say the welfare of the society. Such renunciation, that is TAG, has an especially powerful resonance in the collective psyche in our context, where familism is so highly valued. Like we know at the same time there are many people who give more preference to what is the family value, right? Many people, like you said, here in India, we can see that the person who is able to give time to the family or protecting the family are considered as successful man. So here contracted thing. So familism is there in India, even when at times it's experienced as suffocating. TAG gains the deeper respect in the context where people accept that run of the mill leaders will always look after the interest of their family first. A context where they can empathize with political leaders' incredulous reaction to a journalist who questions the appointment of the politician's son to a high post within his party. Who else will I appoint your son? That is what is mentioned here. So that is what is mentioned here. So just read this article. It will give us some points for you in paper 4, that is general studies paper 4, moral and ethics. It will give some of the points. It will also give some of the what you can say points where you can use these points in writing the essays. UPSC is expected you to use such type of rhetoric, such type of examples while writing what you can say essay. That is what is explained here. There is one more what you can say the story is given here, that what type of leader you should have. So just read this article to understand the importance of TAG in Indian culture. So that is what is mentioned here. Then going to the next page.
सर
Yes.
सर सर आप आइडियल की बात कर रहे थे तो अन्ना हजारे भी थे ना
But Anna Hazare is not ideal for everyone. Yes, you can
सर
consider him as an ideal, but obviously, what you can say, he is not a political leader. Right? You need to have a political leader who
सर
has,
he is the social activist
Sir, APJ Kalam.
APJ Abdul Kalam was also not a politician. He was president, he was a scientist, but he was not politician. Check it. Going to the next article on ideas page, Manishankar Iyer has written an article, The Arbiter of Differences. Pranab Mukherjee, who has died yesterday, he was considered as a person who used to, what you can say, bring together the people with having difference of opinions. So Mukherjee had the ability to push opposing views towards common ground, negotiating the difficult terrain that keeps political parties apart. That is what is mentioned here. Anyways, right hand side, there is one article about the Prashant Bhushan case, which I have seen yesterday, that he was being charged or he was being penalized by 1 rupee. So at stake, truth and justice. What would happen if Prashant Bhushan were given immunity, allowed to speak freely? That is what is explained here. So Colin Gonsalves, who is again a Supreme Court, what you can say, the lawyer, it is mentioned here. The writer is a senior advocate in Supreme Court and founder director of the Human Rights Law Network. So read this article to understand what is the. We have already discussed a lot. We have already read a lot regarding this issue of the Prashant Bhushan, about the freedom of expression as well as the contempt of court. So if you still want to read, you can read this article. Right hand side, there is one more article about to rebuild and recover. So what India should do to rebuild Indian economy and to recover the Indian economy, because we have seen there is a tremendous economic contraction is there in the Indian economy. What should be done to rebuild and recover the Indian economy? That is what is mentioned here. The article is written by Subodhi Rakshit and Vijit Puri, who are a senior economist at Kochak Institutional Equities and Puris, an economist at Kochak Mahindra Bank. Views are personal. So they say that India must aim for wider consumer base. We can see that India is having a very wider consumer base. India has one of the highest population in the country in the world. Direct public spending accordingly. So public spending means the government should directly spend the money so that money can come into the economy and it can help in rising the demand, it can help in rising the consumption, which further leads to what you can say the production. So this article is very important for understanding the way we can recover our economy. Question can be asked in the mains exam. So cut this article, read this article, put it in paper 2 topic, growth and development. Read this article. अगर आपको इसमें से कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, you can ask me tomorrow's what you can say the tomorrow's session. ठीक है? So here I can say, I told you that it is easy to prescribe abandoning fiscal prudence or printing money to fund spending, but the risk reward ratio from that is explained here. So just read it out. Why printing currency and giving to the people cannot be a, what you can say, a viable solution or viable, what you can say, the way forward. So read this article. It's a very, very important article. It has explained all the points of the problems that are being faced by the Indian economy. So those जिनका economics का basic खत्म हुआ है, जिन्होंने पढ़ा है, they might be able to understand this particular, what you can say, article. ठीक है. Now go to the next page, economics page. I'll directly go. We have left with 2 minutes, so let's finish it within these 2 minutes. Yes. So decision after meeting with Finance Minister Sitharaman tomorrow. Moratorium window over. Understand that the moratorium have been given till 31st of August only. So the moratorium window has been over now. Banks plan framework for retail loan restructuring. So retail loan means small loan, not large loans. So the banks, because right now the restructuring of only the large loans are going on, not about the small loans. So the banks are also planning to create a framework for retail loan restructuring. So for recast of corporate loans, the modalities will be worked out after an expert panel, which is led by the KV Kamath, submits its report on RBI. So how the recasting of the loan should be carried out, a report will be submitted by KV Kamath. So after that, there will be what you can say, the recasting of the corporate loan. Corporate loan means what? The loans which have been given to the corporate companies, that is large companies. Retail loan means what? Loans given to individual, right? Retail loan means small loans. Loans given to the individuals. So retail loan restructuring is also being planned by the banks. That is what is explained here. Okay? Fiscal prudence. Yes. Who is this? Who is asking this question? Can you please tell me your name? What fiscal prudence means? What? Ki not borrowing the money. That is what is called as fiscal prudence. So I will discuss it while I am discussing the basics of fiscal policies of the government of India. Who is this? I don't know, because we have put only smileys on the name. May I know the name? Who is asking this question? Hello, am I audible? किसने पूछा था ये क्वेश्चन? ठीक है. Okay, going to the next article. I am left with only 1 minute. Thomas Isaac on GST compensation. This is constitutional right of states. Center should borrow and provide. That is what is said by Finance Minister of Kerala. So read this article to understand the issue of the GST. Then waiver of interest on interest, I guess basic canons of finance, Center to Supreme Court, loan repayment during the moratorium. So here there is an article is written, just read it out. Okay, so pre-existing inequities in urban India exacerbated. Inequality अभी बढ़ गई है यहाँ पर urban area में. ठीक है. RBI liquidity steps boost rupee by 73%. So 73 पैसे से रुपये का वैल्यू बढ़ गई है.